In this video, I want to go over how to cut the dovetail joint. And when we're doing that, we start out with the marking gauge. And I'm going to set this for just a little bit thicker, a little bit wider than the board is thick. And on my two pieces, I'm going to run a line all the way around. From there, I want to lay out my dovetails. I'm going to do this by first putting a line here. And that's about 3/16 of an inch over. And that 3/16 of an inch represents the spacing in from the end and the space between each tail. Now in this exercise, we're cutting 3 dovetails. So we're going to set our dividers on that line and step them over until it ends right on the edge. Okay, that's good. So 1 dot, 2 dots. Then I'm going to move this over right to the end of the board. Do it again. And this lays out the spacing for our dovetails. So with a small square, just connect across. Now I have this set at 10 degrees, which is with the angle we're going to use for our dividers, or for our dovetails. So I'm going to go ahead and lay these out. And at a certain point, you'll stop doing this because you'll be comfortable enough with the saw where you'll just cut to your angle. Turn it around, do the other side. And there you see we have our dovetails all laid out. Now normally I would transfer the marks to both sides, but to indicate how you really don't need to do that, I'm just going to tilt my piece to 10 degrees and tighten it down. This block is cut at 10 degrees. And then I'm going to take my saw and just cut straight down to my line. And in this exercise, don't worry too much about everything being perfect. Flip my piece around, pop her back in here, and cut it again. Okay, now I have the first half of these cut. And I'm going to go to the scroll saw to finish them up. Now I have a number 9 blade in here, and depending upon your level of comfort using the saw, it's whether you cut to the line or leave some to pare away with the chisel later on. I think it makes sense just to try to learn how to cut to the line. That's what I'm going to do here. Now I'm going to bring this in, pivot on the back of the blade, go to my line and make my cut. And just pop it out. Clean up the corner, and then go to the other one. Pivot around. And then just cut right on the line. And pop it out. And there my dovetails are, all cut out. Now on these two, which is another set that I cut, I intentionally left some to pare away. Now you can do that by laying your chisel in the kerf and coming across, halfway, and you flip it around, and you come in from the other side. This is one way of doing it. And you're just sort of scooping down a little bit. Now another way to do this, which some people like to do, is to just bring up a block, line it up on your scribe mark, set the chisel on there, and just tap down. This is a method that's very popular among a lot of people. So here's two ways of doing it. Just pick the one that works best for you and go with that. Okay, so I've mounted these. Now I'm going to trace out my dovetails. I want to set this piece flush on both sides, and with my X-Acto knife, make a mark. Now this is very important. What I want to stress when doing dovetails is the first line for laying out the tails is done with the pencil. The reason for that is if you drift at all, it's not going to matter. But when you're doing these, it does. So for this, we use an X-Acto. And once again, you can just cut straight down, or if you don't feel comfortable doing that, take your little square and cut down from the inside. All right, so then I'm going to take my saw and make my cuts. And I'm going right to the line, not leaving myself anything to tear away. Okay, so there I have made all of those cuts. And once again, we're going to head back to the scroll saw. If you look at this, you can see how there's a narrow side to the dovetails and a wide side, okay? And we want to cut out, make straight cuts into the narrow side. So I'm just coming straight in on my saw cut. Now we have these extra set of lines. But because tear out usually happens on the bottom, when I cut out these center areas, I'm going to come in from the top. And that way if there's any problems, it'll be on the bottom. So pivot in, right to the line. Come in. Pivot and cut right to your line. If need be, come back and clean out a little bit. Personally, I think the scroll saw works wonderfully for this. Okay, so there we are, and now we just need to clean out these little corner wedges, and we'll do that back at the bench. Now I just want to knock these out. Now, if you do have to do any cleanup on these, okay? I think I'm going to have to do a little. I just line my chisel up on the piece and just chisel down. Now, if you're out here on the edges, you never want to do this. If this piece breaks out, you're going to slice your hand. So you want to have your hand over here, maybe going down this way, or over here going down this way. You never want your hand in line with the chisel. That can just lead to bad things happening. Okay, so here we go. We tap them in, and there's a set of dovetails. That's all I want you working on in this exercise right here.